Alright, so welcome to lesson 6. So as usual, we go to file, we go to new, or use our control N. The first thing we want to do is to ensure that we've saved it so we can have our file extension. So I call it lesson 6. Lesson 6. Okay, and I ensure that it's named as HTML. So I won't save that. I can just simply type HTML and I have my content there. So I call this lesson 6, and now we want to work with form, working with forms, so we're working with forms right now. So you notice that you've seen website, and you've had to sign up on a particular website like Facebook and maybe Google or Yahoo and all those emails. Well, you have to sign up, and each time you have something to do there. You may have to log in. So what you've been interacting with is what we call form, and we use form to take data from users. All right, on our page. So various data have been received from users of web application through a form. Okay, so and that's what we want to try and explore now. Okay, so form, pretty much like the table that we did earlier on, is have a form tag, something like this, just like we have a table tag. Okay, just like that. So all our form elements, depending on the kind of form we're designing, so we then be enclosed within this form tag. Okay, for instance, if I just have a simple a login form could have just a simple username, password fields, and then submit. So just 3 elements. And another form, like let's say your job application form, could have a whole lot of form elements, ranging from one name, full name, addresses, email, educational backgrounds, and all of those things. So a lot is going to be there. So irrespective of the size of the form elements, either small or big, so you want to get them enclosed inside the form tag. So the first thing that would be open will be the form tag, and the last thing that will get closed, so long as you're still writing the form, will be the form. So this is the first thing, and the content of the form goes inside. All right. So that's that. And form has what we call a number of attributes. Has a number of attributes. One of them is name. Name equals to, let's say I can call it a sign up form. Okay, name equals to sign up. So you're at liberty to name it anything. If you don't name it, there's no problem, so long as you have only one. You have only what you have. Let's say you have only one form on that page, but when you have multiple forms on the same page, you need to identify with a certain a property. So name is appropriate for that, and ID is equally appropriate for that. Later on, we're going to see class and appropriate for that. For some languages that you are going to be using to pick the data and dumping into the database, name might be a requirement. So name is an attribute of a form, and then there are equally other attributes that would, like action, method, that will hang type. We're going to see them later on, so let's keep it simple for now. Just form, name, attributes. So I mean, this is a form. And then apart from just opening it, like I said, we want to have content. So the first thing we want to explore is the form element called impute. Impute of form elements. Okay, so let's say we have impute. So there are a lot of impute elements. We have, each time you're trying to fill a form and they're asking you for your name, just tiny box like that. That's where you are going to see it live in a jiffy. So let's say we have it like this. Impute type equals to, first of all, we want to deal with type equals to text. All right, so input type equals to text. So we just have it like this. Impute, there are different type of inputs. I need to specify its type. So I have type equals to text. This is used to take text, and text is everything from your keyboard, numbers and alphabet and what special characters. So if I do this, save it, as tiny as it is, I can go to my page. So lesson 6, right click and open it with my Chrome. So I'll have something like this. All right, so and I can type Kenny in there, as I can type jobs in there, like that. So that's it. an input field, and I specify it to be a text. Now, so let's go more. I come in here and I don't know what he's telling me. So I don't know if he's asking for my name, if he's asking for my email, if he's asking for my phone number. I'm not sure. So let me go ahead and give it something that will make it a bit, so we can have a placeholder. So when I give it a placeholder makes it have a certain content that is talking to me. And so let's say we say the placeholder says your first name. So let's say we have it as first name, so I save it as first name and then have it refresh like this, so I can have first name there. So it's asking me to put my first name. Now I'm sure now what is asking me to, so I can say my first name is, let's say it's Lukman, and then I have it like that. Okay, so let's say we have another Impute feed, and that one is asking me to put in something else. So we have Impute, and the type is equally a text, and placeholder is, let's say, last name. Placeholder is last name. So if we save this like that and we have a refresh, so we can have one field asking me for my first name and the other is asking me for my last name. So I can go ahead and put it there. So I can say my first name is Lukman and my last name is Ibrahim, something like this. Alright, so we taught ourselves how to break stuff into the following like earlier on, so we can use a BR to make this guy go to the next line. So let's say we have a BR, which although we're going to be using a better option later on, so we can have it go to the next line. So we can have it like that, and you can make it have double line spacing using the style tag. We showed ourselves how to use a margin earlier on. So let me say I still want them to be on the same line. So Impute type equals to text shows us that it is able to accept text and is able to accept any kind of text that is coming from your keyboard, alphanumeric and all the likes. Okay, so I can come in here. I'm at liberty to come in here to say, okay, I have a first name. So just in case I don't want to use a placeholder, and here I have a last name. So that's, gives some sort of description. That's we have this and this, but this is essentially called label. So this thing that you have in my mind, what I want is a label. You understand? So it is appropriate to wrap it around a label tag. A label tag is, it tells me what is required. It describes a particular form element. So let's say I have something like this, so I can so we have, and that is going to be for this input field. Alright, so another attribute for this input field, which is very important, is you need to give it a name, because now you see that you have input type because of text, you have another input type because of text. There's nothing that is actually separate that distinguishes this from this. Forget about this placeholder. Placeholder is just there to tell the users that is filling the information something. Alright, so it's not really so useful like that, apart from just telling users what is expecting of you is for first name. So there has to be something that would differentiate this from this. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a name. So name attribute for an input field, and you can call this your any name that you want. F name, this is for you as a developer, and for the scripting that you're going to be using to pick this data and dumping it in database. So user don't get to see this, so this is for your reference, and that's why I'm free to use any kind of naming convention I want. So I have name equals to, so all you need to know is you have to know what you've used, so because you're going to need them later on. So I give it a name and I call it L name. So this is going to be like that, and then here the appropriate thing to write is label for, and then I say label for F name. Label for F name. This is the perfect thing. Even though what you've written before works the way you want, and it wraps itself around this thing, but this is more appropriate. This is more appropriate. So this is label for this, and this is supposed to be label for this. So you've not wrapped that, you only wrote it blank. So we're supposed to come in here and wrap this around a label tag, so we can have, let's say we have a label tag, and we make this guy come here. You can say label tag, and this is not correct. This is supposed to be label. and then this equally label. So we have that now. So and equally, so we can say this is label tag for equals to l name, l name, like that. So we save this and then we can have it like that. So something like that. So nothing changed, but we've written a perfect code now. So we have the label. So we've introduced ourselves to label. Label is telling me what is expected of me. So you usually see that beside the form field. But in the absence of label, sometimes you don't have a space for label. So you could have a placeholder in place that tells user what is expected of them. So a placeholder disappears at entry. So it disappears. It's only there, imaginarily, and it's telling me something. Okay. So Control Z. Okay, so we have that back. So we've talked about input type equals to text, and equally I may want the size of the input field to be very big. This is the same field that we use in Google search. All right, so but you see the Google search home is very large. So let's say I make this one 35. Okay, so if I say size equals to 35, it means it's going to be longer. So you can see that now this is longer than this. The default is 25. Now I make it 35, so I can even make it more. So let's say 65. So if I save that as 65 and then refresh this, you can see that this is looking very long now. So if you want to make a long what's it called, a long text field, you can just manipulate that with your size attribute. So the size attribute changes its width. So like that, and you can style it with the styles that we've been having. You can give it a background color, and you can give it a border, like that, with the usual style that we've got. So, and that is just outside this. We've been using styles. We use styles to style our tables earlier on. We use styles to style our body and all the likes. Okay, so you could just come in here also and use tag, but let's not mix things up. So type, placeholder, name, and size. So that's type equals to impute. All right, so another thing I want us to take advantage of is, okay, now let's say we move on into impute. Okay, and we have impute type equals to a password. Now, so if I want to receive a password, I will use type equals to password. Type equals to password enables me to take things that are not supposed to be visible when you're typing them. So stuff like password, stuff like credit card, secret numbers, or stuff like that. So just in case someone is beside me when I'm typing it, I do not want the person to pick it up. Okay, so input type equals to password, take password. So I can come in here and write a label. So we have password label. So if I have this refresh, so I can have a third field. So this one takes input text. So this one takes stuff like jobs, and let's say this one takes stuff like Steve. The password, what you type in there, is not showing, so it's dot 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 like that. So that's a password field. Input type equals to password. Input type equals to password. Give us a password. So you pretty much, you see that is an input field. So it's just a type that differs. So we have an array of input fields like that. So we have it like that. So pretty much everything that is there for this text is equally there for password as well. So you can have something like placeholder, even that's not going to show up. So you can have placeholder equals to a password, and you can have stuff like name equals to, you give it an identity, name equals to password. So we can have something like this. Okay, so when you have a refresh, so we can see first name, last name, password showing, and then when we type, so everything disappears like that. So this is input type. We've done two input types now. Input type equals to text, and input type equals to password. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at is, at least let's do a complete form. Let's say we want to do a sign up form. We want to do a sign up form. So we need input type equals to text, we need input type equals to password, and then we need another thing, a button, so a submit button. So when you want to sign up, you click on it. So the next thing would be sign up. So the next thing will be sign up. So let me break it so it's a bit so we have it like that. So this one can actually be close to that. So the password comes in here. Alright, so I'll have a button called Impute type equals to submit. This is a submit button. So when you click this, it's going to submit all the data that is being filled into the form. So impute type equals to submits the data. Alright, so we have it like this. So impute type equals to submits the data, and then we want something to show that. So when we save this and we go in there, we are going to see something like this. So we can see this button. So we have this and this button shows. So when you click on it, you know, it tries to submit what you've specified. Now if you don't want this submit to show on it, let's say what you want to show on it is sign up or log in or register or get in touch or whatever it is. So just specify the value attribute of this would be equals to, so when we specify value, we can put sign up. Sign up. So all this equally they have value as well. So value specify like this is the value of this field. All right. So if we have a refresh now, so we can have this changed. This has changed to something else. So you can have it styled if you want. So you can have it styled later on. Like I said, we're going to have a sections where I introduce it into styles CSS properly. But we've been using style, so I can use inline style. Just like I taught us, so we can have inline style equals to, I can have a background color and give it something else, something like this, and I can equally change its font size as well. So you can see that the background of that has changed. The entire page, I want the content to be bigger. So let me say I come in here and I style it, and font size, let's say we make it 32 pixel. So that's somewhat bigger than, so we can have something bigger that we can interact with. Okay, so now I have all the tools that is necessary for me to create a sign up form. Okay, so let's say I want to turn this into a sign up form, and the sign up form is asking for my first name, last name, my email address, my username, my password, and I'll submit. Okay, alright, so doing that exercise now, so I'm going to create, so let me change this to example. So let me create another form similar to that. Now I'm going to name this form sign up now. So I want to create something serious. So sign up. Now within it, I'm not specifying the method that you should use now or the action that is going to process the form. So for now, like I said, keep it simple. So I want to have, let's say, label. Now after the label, I want first name. That's what it's asking me. And after that, I have the inputs type equals to text to get the first name of the user. So name equals to f name. So let's say we have that. You can equally specify a placeholder if you like. So let's say we have this and we have it broken, let's say br, and then we have another stuff, let's say label, and then in this other label we have is asking for my last name, and after the last name I can have something like input. So I have type equals to text as well, still text, and the name is equals to l name this time around. So you can give it any name actually, but just be sure that you follow the convention I told us earlier on. So don't use space in between, and because you're going to run into trouble. So we have name equals to l name, and the next thing is, let's say I want to supply email address. So I have email address, and I have that to be impute, and type equals to email, sorry, I've not introduced us to email, so let me just use something simple. But you could just use type equals to email. So there is a reason for that. But let's use text to get our email for now. So we have type equals to text, and let's say name equals to email. Alright, so if we have this, so it will save that and look at what we've got. So we see that we have something, but it may not be that presentable. So we have something like this. So we have first name, good. We have last name, good, and we have email addresses, good. So we can type. We can actually type. And the next thing that is asking me is, let's say, is asking for my password. So create another break line. So now I create another break line, put in my label, and in this label now I have password. Then under the password I have impute type equals to password. So name equals to password. So you give it a name. You're going to need this name when you're taking the data to the server. So you're going to need a name. So you have to take note of the name that is being used. Alright, so name equals to password. And the next thing I want to just have would be let's say we'll break it again, and we have impute type equals to submit. So we're ready to submit it, and we can equally give it a name equals to sign up, and then the value that we want to show on the distance, let's say we call it sign up. So this one you have to make it because it's going to be visible to user, so you have to write it correctly. And so let's say we have there. Now if you refresh this, you'll see what we've got first name. This is different, so let's separate them so we know that they are different. So let's have horizontal rule. So HR helps us to separate that table from this. So this is our sign up form, and in fact we can give it a heading. So let's say we give it header h3. So earlier on we did header. So if you're just joining this tutorial, there are a couple of other tutorials that have come before it. So we have h3 is, let's say I want to name it, and I call it sign up form. Like this. So when I have that saved, I can refresh it, so I have the sign up form like that. So this form I can use it even though it's not so pretty. So I have first name to be Kenny, and last name is, let's say, Ibrahim, and then we have email, we have Jamal at gmail.com, and then the password is password. So we have that save, submit, and he's supposed to submit it somewhere. Okay. All right. So but because what we're interested in right now is learning the form structure first of all, before we're interested in what is going to happen after the submit is clicked, and what are the likely events that will happen after that is clicked. All right. So but that's not where I'm going right now. So I'm going to make this form useful, and make it presentable, pretty much using what we've learned. So we learned table before now, so I can use table to structure this. So I can just make this one in one column, make this one in another column, so I can have some sort of alignment. So later on we are equally going to be seeing how we can use CSS to do just that. Now, so if I come in here and I create table tag inside the form. So let's say I create a table tag inside the form, so this becomes entirely a table. Now after doing that, I want to have my column. So I don't need the distance, body, or the stuff. So I just have three table row straight on. So this is a row as far as I'm concerned. Each of these, I don't need this BR anymore, so I can just put them in a single row. So we have one row like that. So you notice that this is going to be table data. So let's say we have table data, so I can just have this like that, and then have it td and then have td close here. Alright, so I can have td and have td close here. So I have a row on ground, so I can have the rest like that as well. So I have my tr a row, and this is entirely a row. Have it closed, and then this first one is the table data, that's the first column, and this is the end of it. So the last name column, and beside it I'll have another column called td, and that's going to be the last name field. Something like this. So when we save that, and you see something like that. So these are the ones that are well aligned. These ones are still messing up because they're not in there yet. So let's continue and just finish up the work. So we have tr, and just trying to make this fit into the content of a table. So we have tr, and then we close the table row here, and we have another table data open. So you should do this yourself. We have it closed here, and then we have the td opens here, and then we have it closed here. So the email is okay now. Move on to the password. So we can have a t row, that's table row opens, and all these will be entirely on the same row, and we have the first column td, and this will be like that, and then this one too td, and then this one we close like that, and then this one we have td, and then this one, let's say I want a single row for this, so I can just do this td, and I can just ask it to span colon span, and I have it to be 2. Okay, okay, that needs a row as well, tr, and I can have that way. So save it now. So if you look at this form again, it will look like it. So this is looking more like it. We have a table that is well aligned, so all the form elements are together. We have the labels are equally on one side. Okay, so we can we could have that. We did something called the table caption earlier on, so you can give it a caption instead of using that. So I can have this to be my sign up form, so as a caption of the table. So that works more like that. So it centralizes itself, and we have everything like that. And then even to make it even more interesting, you could color all the column. You could color all the column. So when you color all the column, you can do that. Go ahead and do that. You can just go to all the first td. So if you come in here, you can give it a bg color. I told us about bg color earlier on, and bg color is no longer supported in HTML5, but it still works. So bg color gives background color so let's say the background color red of something like that, but this is not what I'm going to be using. I just used an example. So that's the background color of that. But go ahead and remove it. Use the right thing. Use a style tag, give it a style, and give it a background color, and give it a good color. So you can go ahead and do that to all the first column in each of the rows like that, and you'll see that all of them will get painted. So just to show you that is a possibility. So you please go ahead and create this sign up form for us, and the exercise for you will be to create a login form for this. Alright, so you have everything that you need in a login form. Maybe you supply email and password, or you supply username and password. So that's going to be the exercise.